All right, I'll modify it. Pick a color. That color represents the purpose of your life. What's the color? Black? Green?
Now that I'm alone, I feel the lonely, broken hearts.
All right.
This is house number 2. Yesterday there was nothing here, or 2 days ago. And today all the pillars are up and part of the roof is
trembling subside.
Now tell me, how do you connect red to your life? You have connected your
Rosarino
or your presence on this planet to love. Love. Love.
He's my evil shadow dog, my black hole can break him like a diamond sword.
We have red, passion, and love. To blue, which is big space, peace, and happiness. That sounds like really, really powerful messages about who we are. We separate things, we put them into like little boxes. So Nicaragua's over there, Cuba's over here, Miami's over here, and they're separate. For me, this trip was really about connection, and it happened in a way that I didn't expect. So what started to strike me were the faces of the little kids, and especially the faces of little girls. And it was, what happened was that I was in my mother. And growing up, I remember hearing from my mom all her stories of living in a very, very, very small place in Cuba with dirt floors, with a lot of poverty, with a lot of difficulty. And she would tell me that sometimes she would go to school because she didn't have shoes. And when people would come to the house to visit, all the kids would hide because they would be ashamed because they're clothes. And that was the connection. I was going into this village, to this place, and meeting these kids and their families. I saw my mom, and I also saw my dad, and I saw myself. And although the distance now is so many years and so far away, I realized that distance is not really there. It's my family too. And then the question becomes like, what do you do for that? What do you do when you see a little kid and you go, oh my God, that child's my mother? You know? How do you address your heart in that way so that so that you could cope or so that you could work through your life, right? And there are options that we have. One option is to close off the heart real quick and say no, move on. I'm not going to think about that. And kind of like shut it, ignore it. The other option is to open it. And to find yourself there and to tear your heart open. And the color that I chose for myself was red too. So I picked red. And for me, red stands for fire. And fire stands for passion and energy, and also a sense of destruction and chaos. It's good, it's purification. It has to do with tearing apart those things that would actually bind us into a small life, into a life that's only focused on the very little thing of our own little concern, of our own little self. And that somehow that fire, that passion of looking into that child's eyes can tear up that and allow us or me to open up and to live life a little bit bigger. Always a little bit bigger. What's the purpose of life? But to live just a little bit bigger, with a little bit more capacity. Not perfect, far from it. Not like, oh, Superman. No, it's just a little bit more capacity, just a little bit. And that only comes as we look into the eyes, as we get close, and we realize we're not separate. And that's what this trip was for me. It was this idea of separation and for a moment, because once you get here, you know, what happens is that you get into I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that, and then you kind of like forget. But in a moment, you come right back and say, I'm not separate from you. What does that mean? You're my mother, you're my father, you're my brother, you're my sister. And then what are the implications to the way that we live? These kinds of questions are questions that are generally not asked of you in a setting like this. And I think that's a missed opportunity. These are questions that in our culture we don't really like even mention, because our culture is not about that. But deep down inside in our hearts, we long for that. We long to find home. We long to be grounded. We long to have stories that tell us, yes, you belong. You are someone's. This is not just about like helping the poor family in the house. But this is also about finding ourselves back into our true authentic humanity. And that we can do that in many different ways.